Hey everyone, it's Mav, and this is Mav Magic, a place where I talk about whatever I feel like it. So, welcome to Chaos. The last video I made was a little bit of an update on how my transition is going, and there was one particular line in that video that has been in my head and I can't get out of my head and I needed to correct it. I said in that video that, being trans is just something that doesn't really come in my head as much anymore. I just don't really notice it as much, don't think about it as much. And it's weird because that's like both true and false. I definitely find that now that I've transitioned for much longer, that there is much less of maybe an obsessive curiosity about the changes in my body and how I'm sounding, how I'm presenting, and what's going on and all of that stuff. So that has definitely decreased. But I do still think about my transness quite often. And I feel like this probably has to do with the spaces that I find myself in. For example, I, enjoy pain, aka the TikTok debate space. And when you spend any time there, you have a lot of people who just enjoy debating people's identity. So oftentimes, if I find myself, in a debate space, I might be debating, is a non-binary person actually trans? Are they actually valid, right? And thankfully, I have stopped myself from engaging in all of those types of conversations, which has been really, really good for my mental health. I'm not obsessively questioning my validity and stuff like that anymore, which is really great. But it still does frustrate me and bother me that non-binary people are seen as this group of people who don't belong in the wider trans community. And that just can't be right. That it just isn't true. You know what I mean? We are just as trans as any other binary trans individual. It really doesn't matter that there are non-binary trans individuals who don't want to transition. That doesn't matter. That shouldn't invalidate binary trans people for any reason. One of the weirdest things that I get from people is, if you are non-binary and you medically transition, what are you transitioning to? If you're not transitioning to man or woman, that doesn't make any sense. And people just seem to not be able to wrap their minds around the fact that some people just transition to feel more comfortable in their body. You're right. I'm not transitioning to be a man. I'm not a man. I'm just a person. I'm just me. I can't help the fact that this is who I am, right? One of the other things, I really do find myself thinking this, sometimes I wish that I was binary trans. I feel like it would be so much easier to explain my identity to other people. I would be just so much more palatable to others. People would quickly be able to understand my identity and understand who I am, but that's just not a luxury that I have. You know what I'm saying? And I am not going to start some type of debate on who is the most transiest trans of all the transes. That's a stupid conversation to have. But I do think that that there are unique challenges that non-binary individuals face that we don't see within the broader trans community. Nobody's gonna look at Blair White, right, and tell her she's not a woman. You know what I mean? But Blair White herself has and does look at other non-binary people and tell them, you are not trans. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter if you're transitioning. It doesn't matter if you are, taking hormones or whatever. You're just not trans. You know what I mean? Completely invalidating their existence. And I'm speaking about this video that she did recently, some type of debate versus, conservative versus progressive trans people. And she was just chewing out this non-binary individual on the panel.
Being a non-binary person that sometimes has the choice to either go into a men's restroom looking like this, you can look at me looking like this.
It's just interesting. I thought this was a trans debate. That's what I thought.
Even.
Non-binary people,
non-binary people
will
fall
fall
under the
trans
umbrella.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
And it was just so frustrating. I hate this shit so much. The only reason why I'm making this video is just to be honest for a little bit. Just to let you guys know and remind you that being non-binary can suck a lot sometimes. It can be really confusing to understand your identity because there's not a lot of examples who to look to, right? And a lot of people will experience on their gender journey, like, I'm a non-binary, like me personally, I'm a non-binary person and I have like facial hair and I'm finding that that's comfortable for me. What does that mean about my identity? Does that mean that I'm actually a man and I'm just using my non-binary identity to like slowly transition over to be a trans man or whatever? Who the fuck knows? I don't think that I'm a trans man. Maybe in the future I'll change my mind, but as of right now, I feel very comfortable being who I am, being a non-binary individual, and identifying this way and using they, them pronouns and all of that stuff. I personally sometimes feel that using they, them pronouns is something that I understand is not going to be accepted by the greater society, right? And by choosing these pronouns, by choosing to continue to go by these pronouns, I'm saying, like, okay, people, if you really want to get to know me, like, you'll have to go beyond just the general understanding of what a man and woman is, have to put real effort into understanding me as a person. If you're not willing to do that, then you're probably not going to be someone who's in my life deeper. Using they, them pronouns is like this helpful thing. And at the same time, I noticed myself being curious about what it would be like to use like he, they pronouns or they, he pronouns or something like that. And then feeling uncomfortable because what if that makes me like less non-binary or something?
Hey there, editing Mav here, just popping back in because I feel like I didn't quite wrap this thought up quite well. And I really wanted to get the point across that it really is okay for a person to use whatever set of pronouns they want to use and be a non-binary person. You can look whatever way you want and be non-binary. You can get like full top and bottom surgery and be non-binary. You cannot transition at all and be non-binary. And like, you can also do all of these things and also be a binary trans person. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Everyone's identity, there are in unlimited ways for a person's identity to present. And that's pretty much what I wanted to get across here.
I wanted to let you guys know that it's okay to have questions and curiosities about your gender and the way that things present. It's okay to sometimes not be sure about how exactly your dysphoria is presenting on any particular day. It is also okay to be really frustrated with the conversations that are going on around non-binary people and our identities. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry that the wider, trans community can be hostile and negative towards other non-binary individuals. The enbyphobia is real out here, guys. I'm here for you guys, and we'll figure this out together, I guess. If you have any thoughts about it, just let me know down in the comments below. Let's share some thoughts about this. Have a good one.